Hello guys, I'm super happy to see all of you here and I'm super excited and can't wait to start our webinar. And today we will speak about McKinsey first round case interview simulation. But just before we start, I want you to have a huge motivation and a huge desire to crack the case. So that's why I want to ask you, can you please imagine that you received an offer from your dreaming company? And imagine this, and what will be your reaction, and what will be the first thing which you will do? I don't know, you can probably open the bottle of champagne, or eat a huge cake, or call your parents and say that you are the coolest person in the world. Just please write this in the chat.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Gaurav or internal team, please try to fix the issue with Alina. I don't know how she disappeared, but let's basically continue into there. And imagine, how would you feel yourself the day that you receive this confirmation email saying something like, "Dear Collins," or "Dear Paul," or "Dear Boris," or "Dear Poco." It was a really good chance. We are very happy to thank you very much for the interview last Friday. We were really impressed, and my congratulations. We would like to submit you an offer. Could you please share your postal address as well as your passport details to send you the copy of the contract for signing? Looking towards to hearing from you very soon. Maria, on behalf of the HR team. So, Paul, how would you feel once you get this offer from Alvarez Marcel or any other company?
Well, I would feel most certainly excited, and I will have something called positive stress. You know, it's positive news, but you'll get the stress coming. You know, this is like your journey has just begun, but it's great to receive that one day. Yeah, we're all working on that.
Can you guys, do you want to get an offer from from the company you have always dreamed to work at? Can you maybe write it into the chat? And how would you feel yourself? Right. So this is exactly the attitudes which you need to have throughout the entire process, because the whole process is really very, very challenging. So have this picture on top of your mind as you go through the entire application process. And we actually want to dedicate this webinar to help you to make the first right step towards the work of your dream. So let's basically get it started, and let's jump on the next page so that we can also introduce you into our webinar. So very briefly, we will be having some intro part at the very beginning of our webinar where you can get to know all the participants and all the speakers with each other. Please be active. Please use the chat function, because we will be interacting and answering your questions a lot in the chat. And in the middle of the webinar, there will be also a great gift for you. So we will be simulating the first interview round as it happens with McKinsey, together with Paul, one of our clients, and Gaurav, one of our coaches, so that I would strongly encourage each one of you to try to crack the case and to answer the questions which Paul is answering together with us. Write your answers into the chat so that you can also get the feedback on them and practice. So use the coming 2 hours of this webinar to place most of your questions and to get answers to most of them. Yeah, and then afterwards, we will also give you some bonus materials at the end of the webinar for those who can stay till the very end. So let's basically move on to the next page and let's get the show started. In terms of rules, I would strongly request you, please, in order to make the environment silent and productive, just mute yourself if you are not speaking, so that we give the chance to the speakers to speak comfortably. Otherwise, please use this chat in order to get the best value of the webinar, and we will be giving you basically all the support entirely. Abdul Rahman, to answer your question, yes, the webinar is going to be recorded and afterwards will be shared with you. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide, and after next slide. So yeah, here, just imagine, here Alina, our moderator, should have actually introduced herself. I can do that for her. She's our head of the marketing department at Consulting Masters. And we also want to give the word to our one of our best clients, Paul. Yeah, can you maybe tell something which is not stated on your CV to the candidates and to all the webinar participants?
Okay, sure. Thank you, Andre, for this introduction. Alina, it's always good to see you. Gaurav, it's always good to see you, and all the team. So the thing is, I'm a chemical engineer, and I've been working in the chemicals industry and oil and gas and chemical engineering field in the commercial sector for more than 6 years in the Middle East, specifically in Qatar. And this is where I realized that I love the job, but I would love to move to something more exposed and the breadth of knowledge to matter. So this is where I wanted to go to enter the consulting industry. But like anything in life, you cannot just go into something easily. So you will have to prepare for that. And today you will notice in the simulation that an interview in consulting is not as easy as it sounds. So this is where these guys come in, Andre, Gaurav, Alina, and everyone. These people taught me how to address the interview, what to do from A to Z, from the smallest of details to the biggest of details. And like any person is a project in work, and this is what these people are doing right now, and this is what I'm doing right now. So this is like a brief, and something that's not mentioned here. Well, right now you will see. I hope my progress will be good, and that everyone will be impressed with my skills today at the interview.
Yeah, can you maybe also tell me or tell other participants how did you get to know about us, and like why are you sitting here? Why do you want to go for a consulting? Because this is probably also yeah, something which could be interesting also for other participants as well.
Yeah, so how I got to meet the team here is I have a common friend. We used to play football here in Qatar, and when I was doing my education at IE Business School, the MBA, I got to meet this person again, and I'm like, hey man, tell me about you. What's your news? And he's like, I want to go into consulting. I'd like to meet the community. So this is where Mark, I don't know if he's here today, introduced me to you guys. And why do I want to enter consulting? Well, it has been something personal for me. I always wanted to join the consulting industry since I was 24 years old. But I entered the engineering, which I enjoy a lot. But I think I belong more in the consulting industry more than what I'm doing right now. And I like being exposed to clients as well as solve, the riddles and the puzzles of all the industries and face the challenges and upgrade the challenges along with the market trends taking place right now in the market. So this is why I want to join this industry. And this is why I'm working with you guys.
All right, cool. Sounds good. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions to Paul, to Gaurav, to myself, or to Alina, or to other members of our team, so I'm more than glad to address them. So please simply write them down into the chat, and we are spending this hour here in order to help you to, answer most of them, basically. All right, so let's move on to the next. Here's probably I need to introduce myself. I think most of you have already known me so far, but I don't want to tell you the bullshit. I don't want to give you another marketing pitch and say, look, this is how the successful success looks like. No, I want to give you today the real story, how it used to be. So imagine more than 10 years before, I was an immigrant from Ukraine to Germany. I went there for studies and won the scholarship grant from German Academic Exchange Service, DAAD. Someone like Germans would probably know what it is about. So it's given to the gifted students, to high potential students from the foreign countries abroad. And I went as one of 14 students from Ukraine to study in Germany. And my German was extremely weak at that moment. So this was like already one of the challenge. And I can still recall how I was keeping and pushing and trying to get into consulting, because at that time I was purely amazed. I read about it in the internet. There was no YouTube videos at that moment, and so consulting these days has been considered to be extremely prestigious and competitive. I mean, it was a similar situation as of now. There was a crisis from the 2008. The intake has been reduced a lot, and my German was also very poor. So I came like with B1 level, and I still pushed myself hard in learning German language and in practicing cases also in German. And what I want to tell you is that before I got my first offer, I have been rejected 39 times, like 39 times, and only from the 40th attempt I have been accepted. So this was the way I needed to go through. And the reason, so you can imagine, I mean, can you write down how would you feel yourself if you if you would receive 39 emails with no to you, or with something like, oh, you're not good enough. We decided for another candidate. Oh, thank you very much for your application, but we are currently not interested. Oh, thank you very much for showing your interest. Unfortunately, your profile doesn't mean my requirements of the firm. Or thank you very much. Unfortunately, you didn't make it to the next round. So all of this demotivation, this is how struggling I was, and I was very often I was like literally very down. This was very stressful phase in my life when I came to another country, to a different culture, to the language which is also so difficult to learn, and afterwards, But what really helped me a lot was my belief in myself. So I wanted to become like one of the few foreigners who would break into most prestigious work in Germany and compete with Germans on their playground. That's why I pushed myself to go even harder. And I have practiced at my time more than 150 cases. After 150 cases, I simply stopped counting. So therefore, I cannot tell you how many cases at these times I actually did on my own. But it ultimately led to the fundamental change. When my psychology, I was so driven, I was already imagining myself as working as a consultant and doing many international projects. And you know what? After a few months, I got an offer. And I got my first offer with a boutique firm. And I secured my job offer even 11 months before my graduation date. So the company literally needed to wait for me for almost 1 year in order for me to start the job. And I don't want you to become devastated. The reason why I told you all of these terrible stories is because, first of all, I want to explain you how hard it could be. And secondly, I also want to show you the advantage which you have nowadays. So use this webinar, because here you can speak to those two tough guys who have actually survived all those hits. Because afterwards I was able to step into consulting to get promoted faster. I was able to more than double my salary in just 6 years, and all these other things. Of course, I had my ups and downs, but I am here to give something back to you as a next generation, to answer most of your questions, and basically to help you to get to the better outcomes without struggling so much, without giving and being so much frustrated, actually. So this is my key message to you. Please use the chat function so that we can also answer your questions. And yeah, so if I see here, there are some of, okay, yeah, Collins Mukasa, a good joke about borscht. I really appreciate it. So Nayan is asking, how did you cope with that? Yeah, it was, for me, it was, of course, extremely difficult. How I coped with the motivation, I always believed in myself. And I understood that every failure was given to me as a chance to learn something new and to make my performance even better next time. And I was dreaming about an international career where I can help other people and solve different business challenges and work with bright-minded people and learn from them. And also, last but not least, I wanted to be financially independent. So I wanted to earn a lot of money. That's why it was also my aspiration to go for consulting, because after I joined consulting, like my salary, I started with a salary of 60,000 euros back in 2013, while my student peers were earning at that moment something between 37 and 44,000 euros. So I was earning like 50% more already at that time. And over the next 6 years, it has more than doubled. So when I left consulting, I was started earning to about 150,000 Swiss francs, where I'm currently living in Switzerland. So yeah, then there was another question like, what to do when CV keeps getting rejected? First of all, Shveta, you need to rearrange your CV and polish it to make it more consultant proof. We would be able to help you out here. And Alina will be providing you now the links, how you can book the call with our client manager so that you can book and get some help with that regard as well. And of course, you need to use networking and referrals in order to help you to get your future interviews. So simply get in touch with our client managers, get a first call with the link provided in the chat by Alina, and we are happy to help you there. Then another question is like, how did you get the 60K euros at the start of career? Yeah, through my negotiation technique. And it was at that time, I would say that, yeah, only the best candidates received about 60K in salary back in 2012 when I was applying. So you need to be really good. And we are here to share this experience with you so that you can also become really good. And Tejas, if you want to figure out more, again, just book a call with our client manager so that we can answer all your questions. Yeah. Jayant, so why didn't you go for senior partner level in consulting industry? My personal reason was that after 6 years or during 6 years, I got burned out twice. And I also figure out that there are some other interesting things outside of consulting. I had enough experience. I used to work in Western Europe and Central Europe, in Eastern Europe, in Russia. I also spent a couple of years in the Middle East, and I wanted to reduce my traveling significantly because flying even business or first class with Emirates between Dubai and Munich after 12 months stops being excited. So it was a hard time for me. And it was clear to me that for me personally, this was not sustainable. But nevertheless, I have a lot of friends who are working as partners and principals, and they are still excited about the industry. So I simply decided to go for entrepreneurship. All right, cool. Then Mohammed, which firm did you join? I joined first ZAB and then Roland Berger in different offices in Munich, in Kiev, and in Dubai consequently. All right, cool. I think, yeah, maybe just one last question from Siddharth. How much brand value of B School determines your acceptance for interview? Of course, Siddharth, it's easier to get an interview from the B School, but it's not mandatory because I haven't accomplished a B School. So I have graduated from Kiev National Economic University. Even from its name, you can hear that it's a no name, actually, considered to be in Germany. And I still made it. So what is nowadays more important is the level of your connections, which you can have in the industry. And this is also something where we can help you out. All right, I think that's good with the questions so far. Let's move on to the next slide. So if we continue with an introduction of our company, so together with Gaurav, my business partner, we combine actually more than 12 years of experience in consulting. So each of us has been working for more than 6 years in our companies. And what is even more important, we are really proud that in the last years, we have already helped more than 600 people who are currently already working in consulting in all different parts of the world, basically starting from Canada, US, in North America, of course, throughout the entire Europe, Russia, Middle East a lot, and Asia, as well as up to Australia. I think we haven't helped any candidates so far in Africa, Southern America, and Antarctica, which is the favorite place of Gaurav. But as you see, Gaurav has been delegated to Antarctica, so we are working on expanding to the global surface. And what I also think for you, to make it even more clear, more than 200 our clients are currently working with McKinsey, BCG, and Bain. And more than 400 our clients are currently working with Roland Berger, Oliver Wyman, Kearney, Strategy, and Big Four firms, and very many other boutique firms in different ranges, from business analysts up to managing directors of these companies consecutively. All right, so this is maybe just in the nutshell. about our company. And on the next page, what we are really proud of is that most recently, 7 of our clients have actually accepted offers and started working with these 4 major firms, with McKinsey, Bain, Oliver Wyman, and Roland Berger. And they have already started earning between 50,000 euros up to 150,000 US dollars on the annual basis, depending on the company, on the region, and on the position. And this is exactly the value which I myself, which Gaurav, and which our entire team want to deliver to you. So I want to help you to get into the position where you can earn really a lot and where you can work on a very diversified projects and being part of a great team where you can learn from many individuals. All right, I think I have spoken more than enough, and thank you very much also for your questions. I highly appreciate it. So I would rather give an opportunity to our clients to speak more about their experience with us moving forward. So Paul, how Consulting Masters treats you, and why are you still here?
Okay, so thanks for the introduction, Andre. So how Consulting Masters treat me? Well, I will tell you something. It's not simply like I'm dealing with a company or with someone providing a service. It's like dealing with friends who understand exactly what I want and what I want to do. The thing is, the relationship is not only via email. Like I text Andre or Gaurav via WhatsApp, and I tell them about something that's happening in my life, whether it's personal or not. They're always there. They're always ready. And these people give you great results with amazing value. And this is what you want to reach. This is the perfect opportunity for someone who wants to enter the consulting, to penetrate the consulting field or the industry, and who wants to excel. Because the service does not only provide you entering the field and they leave you alone. No, actually, these people will accompany you on your first 100 days and 90 days, which are the most important days for your career. And then you can always move forward and always be in touch with the community. Since it's a community, you're always in touch together. It's a relationship between a client and a customer, a company and a client, or a company and a customer. It's a relationship between friends with amazing results. That's what I can say.
Thank you very much for sharing, Paul. But can you actually tell me, like, why have you subscribed for the most expensive option, the VIP alumni program with our company? And
yes,
what's in there, and how is it going so far for you?
Okay, so why did I ascribe to the most costly service? It's because if I want to enter this field, I want to excel in it. After I heard your story, how you got promoted within months, and how you excelled, I wanted to be like that. You gave me the motivation, and I think everyone here in this room, they want to get the motivation to be the same. Hence, I subscribe not only to enter the field, but to accompany me throughout my career, and how to get my promotion with the fastest way possible. Now, how is it going so far? As you may already know, Andre, I had self-confidence issues, and I was really overthinking this before, and I lacked the technical skills. And this is where you and Gaurav played a role, where Gaurav played on the technical and toughened me up, and you taught me more about the psychological factor to how to excel in these interviews. And that is why I'm still there, because the results you have given me are insane till now, and I really look forward to get even more results.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Cool. Then thank you very much. I think we also have a couple of other clients, VIP clients here. So I have seen Chris Jackson and Juan Becerra. Gentlemen, would you maybe also like to speak out and tell the audience a little bit more about yourself, introduce yourself, and how is the program going for you so far? Chris or Juan?
Yeah, sure. Well, let me turn on the video. Sorry.
Yeah, Chris, maybe you could briefly introduce yourself and then tell everyone how is it going.
So I'm Chris. I live in Dubai. I've been in this region since 2012, and I've had some kind of an interest since I've been in Dubai for the last 2 years, almost 2.5, and I've always had an interest in going into consulting, and but it never quite came to fruition. And so, meeting Andre and Gaurav has been a good way to, I think for me, the two things that stick out the most are the structure and the accountability. And also they both have experience in this region, and that was something that was really important to me. So, you can talk about what are the cultures of the different offices, or what are the differences that are in these offices here versus what it's like back home, what you read online, especially I think for a lot of these firms, what you read about it from maybe a European or an American perspective, and you don't know how that translates over to here. And so talking with people that have been in this region, have gone through this entire process, have gone through their struggles in the process, and then also meeting all the people in the group who have gone through things that you undoubtedly will go through or have already gone through. I think it's just also a nice thing it helps it not feel basically so alone in doing it, especially for someone like me who's an experienced hire. I'm not in a position leaving an MBA program or a university program where people are, you can form study groups, or maybe you have like 3 or 4 or 5 other people that are also, oh, let's get into consulting. Okay, let's do cases together. So all those resources in a place together, that's been really helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there is a good question also from now.
Yeah, so I work at an IT startup company that does IoT basically for heavy industry. And we're only 3 people in the region. And so we're still working from home, and that makes it a lot easier. I have, I think, 3 evenings now that are put into my calendar that are dedicated to consulting. And then it's doing stuff in the morning and doing stuff in the afternoon. The nice thing about working from home is that I kind of structure my day. So I go back and forth between, I'll do an hour or 2 on something related to this, and then I'll do 3 or 4 hours related to work, and then I'll come back to it. So that's how I do it. And then also, I don't have much of a social life. I have 1 day dedicated towards going to the beach and relaxing, and that's maybe the day that I see friends, or a Thursday evening for dinner, and then Friday evening is some consulting stuff, and Saturday is also now consulting stuff. But our work week is also different here. So my Friday, Saturday is, the typical Saturday, Sunday is my Friday, Saturday.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you very much for sharing your experience, Chris. And we also have here Juan Baceta. So Juan, maybe you could also briefly introduce yourself and speak out a little bit about your experience of preparing for your interviews.
Oh, yeah, Joanna, I've been for around 1 month now, more or less, and I think it's very helpful, and the help is so appreciated. And I went with the VIP program. I think is the worthest one, as you have the complete help to get an offer, and to practice, and to be ready for things. So I know more or less how things are working, and all that, but still there's so many things to do, and to keep practicing until one's prepared. And as my colleague, I'm currently working, so I have to take time from whenever I have some time or weekend.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Would you, Juan, or you, Chris, answer the question from Mohammed?
Prep. So working make minimum once a day, and on weekends I do 6. So you can say like 5 + 5, 10 cases a week. All right. And of course, like any other thing in this world, like you're weak in something and you're strong in something. For me, I am weak in mergers and acquisitions, and especially when I want to estimate a value of a company, when I want to like acquire a new business. So basically, that's my weakness. I'm good with profitability cases, and this is where you fill the gap for yourself. There are many platforms that will help you make cases with many different people. But my consulting coach is one of them. But for me, after I started with Andre and Gaurav, this was more than enough. I didn't need any other platform to do the practices, because once you have friends in this service, you will start making cases together, and you'll be practicing with really good people on a higher level than you might think. So this is how I prep: 1 case a day minimum, 10 cases a week, you can say an average.
I think also to add on it is I try and look at it from the whole process, even from the beginning of it's not just like a paying for like a class or something like that. In a very almost fundamental way, it's like if someone goes through a lifestyle change, or say someone wants to get into shape over something and they're going to go hire a personal trainer or a dietitian, you're working with people, coaches, literally, who are helping you oftentimes transform the way that you think or how you structure or look at a problem. And that's not something that's really easy when you think about how easy we fall into our habits and the habits that we've developed in our lives. Consulting is a very structured way of speaking and of looking at things and just going about your life. And I think that takes a lot. It can take a really short time, or it can take a very long time. And that transformation is very specific to who you are. And you two, I think, have been really great at bringing people along at the pace that suits them and finding their weaknesses. So, if you're talking about prep, or if you're talking about how you do it, I imagine Paul and Juan and I, we all are at different stages, but we all go through it a little bit differently, and how you experience will also be different. But, I think we all are taking different paths to the same end goal.
All right, cool. Chris, Juan, and Paul, thank you very much for answering all those questions. I would, with pleasure, give you the opportunity to answer even further questions in our Q&A session. But I think that it's also time for us to focus on the key part of our today's webinar, so that everyone can get the value of what we are planning for today. So what's going to happen next is basically, I will let Gaurav also to introduce himself. Maybe Gaurav, you could do this already as a McKinsey interviewer. So now Paul and Gaurav will together simulate the first interview round with McKinsey. Since Gaurav is an ex-McKinsey guy, and it's going to be very, very realistic. So I would kindly request every one of you to switch off your cameras and switch off your microphones in order not to disturb our 2 speakers today. And I would strongly encourage you. So can you make sure that you can crack the case together with us? And can you write down all your questions, all your notes, all your feedback in the chat, so that we can also have a good discussion during the case, and afterwards. So yeah, but before we go for it, I think that Paul have already spoken about some sort of nervosity. So do you think, or what do you think, guys? Is Paul going to make it tonight? Can you write it into the chat? Can you maybe help him out and cheer him up a little bit? And can you maybe turn on cameras for a moment and give him an applause who has deserved already, in this case, interview simulation for you. So ladies and gentlemen, can you please turn on your cameras for a moment and give him an applause?
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate this. Needed that.
Good luck, Paul.
Thanks. Hopefully,
right, Paul. We wish you best of luck. And now I will leave you with Gaurav. So looking towards.
Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thanks for being present in number. I'll make this quick introduction. I don't want to say something which is you can read on the slide. Yeah, there are too many numbers on the slide already. And I'm really proud of those numbers. But yeah, I think one of the things that Andre asked you guys about is how do you feel when you get the offer? And coming from middle class section in India language, when I got into McKinsey, I just cannot imagine. I cannot even explain that in words. It was just transformational. Yeah, it's funny that I started my MBA with my salary of 2,000 euros pre-MBA, and with McKinsey, when I joined as consultant, my salary in 2008 was 100,000 euros, so 50 times the jump. Yeah, I used to drive a modest two-wheeler back in India, and McKinsey, I started, McKinsey gave me Audi TT to drive in Frankfurt. So yeah, the monetary benefits are amazing. Just remember that this is the byproduct. Yeah, it's a tough industry and tough to crack, and also tough to survive. Yeah, and that's the reason we started Consulting Masters, not just to prepare you for interview, guys. Yeah, we want to make star consultants. We really would like to handhold you so that you enter and prosper in consulting. Yeah, we want to create successful consultant, not successful candidates. Yeah, so that's a little bit 2 cents from my side. Yeah, and today, yes, I will be the tormentor of Paul, being a McKinsey interview, and yeah, Paul.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Yeah.
Born ready.
I'll already give you one feedback that if you are in a real McKinsey interview, you would not wear a white color jacket. Yeah. Please wear dark color jackets so that you look professional. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So let's start. Why don't you tell me, why should I hire you?
Okay, so the first question would be, why should you hire me? Okay, so you know how, first of all, thank you for seeing me, Gaurav. It's always good to see you again. And to answer your question, why should you hire me? You know how sometimes team members get caught up in arguments over the right way to approach a client or a certain challenge? Well, the most important thing I have learned over the years is how to bring conflicts or challenges to a quicker resolution. So if I am on the team, you will not only get a consultant with great communication skills, but also somebody mature enough to help his teammates get the work done and looking at the challenge from a different perspective or outside of the box. It's
too up in the air for me. Just bring it to the ground. Yeah, tell me, what do you mean by that? Yeah, I feel like I'm hearing a drama. Okay, I want to be here and now.
Okay, so how about to make this a little bit real? So I will say that I will gather all my experience that I got from my engineering background and my commercial background. So basically technical and commercial skills and how I got exposed to the value chain of many industries throughout my career in the GCC and apply that within McKinsey. So I think this is a good asset to use as for the position right now open as a consultant. So I hope maybe this clarified a little bit the picture for you, Gaurav.
Okay. Okay. So is there any other reason or just one reason?
Well, I can say that I am exposed to multicultural environments all the times, and I enjoy meeting clients and solving their problems more than I enjoyed studying all my life, which is the engineering. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the engineering, but I do love meeting people and meeting clients and targeting their challenges and finding a quicker resolution and solution with a multicultural environment. I think that would be a good asset as well.
Yeah, I'll not get you wrong because I am also an engineer, but I hated studying. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you talked about solving problems. So can you explain me or can you narrate me a story where you have really solved an ambiguous problem?
Okay. So how about I tell you, do you mind if I tell you a conflict that I had with my boss regarding a problem that we solved? Would that be okay with you?
I don't want to, I mean, the conflict, no conflict doesn't matter. I would like to understand whether the problem was complex.
Okay, so, all right. I will tell you a story that happened with me when I submitted a tender to Qatar Chemical Company, also known as QChem. Would that be okay with you?
I wouldn't know till you tell me what exactly happened.
All right, so the tender was stocking and supply for xylene for 5 years. And the thing is, our company had capabilities to do this tender, but they were a little bit hesitated. So I took the risk to submit that tender. After submitting that tender, which took almost 2 months because we have to submit a commercial offer and a technical offer. And there was a lot of work to be done internally within the company. After we submitted that, the prices changed. So we gave a specific price for the supply of xylene for 5 years. Okay, so let's say the price was $4 million. I'm just giving numbers out of my head because for the secrecy I cannot give the exact numbers.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so the number was $4 million per se. Let's say it was $4 million. Now, based on the ICIS in the chemicals industry, it's like the stock market. Xylene prices fluctuate. So after we got the technical clarification, and there are many technical clarifications take place, the last stage was the negotiations. So QChem, or Qatar Chemical Company, they were like, Paul, your prices are not okay. You need to submit a lower price, which is almost $3.6 million. So this is where the challenge came. The challenge was coming from two sides. It was, let's say, conflicting with my margin of profit, and it was conflicting with management. The decision from management came from above. So first of all, when I wanted to submit the price, which was basically $4 million, I spoke with management many times and I had a fight with them because they wanted to submit more. They wanted 4.3. And I still convinced them to go on a lower margin because there were many bidders for this tender. Now, after I got, like, you know, when you reach the negotiation stage at the tender, Gaurav, it's like you're getting accepted. Like these are the final stages. But when I said no to QChem, the first reply, no, in the negotiations, they were pretty clear and honest with me when Engineer Prakash called me and he told me, listen, Paul, we're not going to go with you. Your price is too high. There are 2 other bidders that are submitting 3 point. He even gave me the prices. I don't believe him actually, but this is how it goes in the market. So he gave me like 3.8 and 3.7. This is what I came to management. I told them, if you cannot match the 3.7 and 3.8, let's go for 3.9. So they agreed to 3.9, and here we are. We got awarded the tender. That was 2 days ago, and my previous company right now, they are still providing the supply of xylene for QChem as we speak right now.
So where is the element of problem solving in this?
The problem was the negotiations that were taking place internally and externally with QChem and with my management, and how the price wouldn't budge. Everyone wanted a specific price, and I reached a consensus, a compromise.
How is it related to consulting kind of assignments?
Well, it's not related to consulting assignment. It's purely technical from the engineering perspective and from the commercial perspective of the engineering. That's the job what I was doing, Gaurav. The job what I was doing, it's not consulting based. This is what I can provide you as an answer.
Okay.
I'm sorry if it was not a consulting based answer, but this is the job that I have been doing for the past 4 years at the moment.
Okay. And why at this point in your career you would like to get into McKinsey?
So why McKinsey, you're asking me?
Yeah.
So in doing my research, on which firm I would be the best, it would be the best fit for me. I spoke to Mark Tayrouz, a McKinsey consultant at the moment. He's a manager in the Dubai office. And I believe there are 3 key distinctions that make McKinsey the right place for me. The first one would be the culture of collaborative, diverse, and inclusive environment that values client service, entrepreneurship, and let's just call it having fun. The second one would be the distinctive, as I like to call it, is what really turned my head. Employees can expect to seek and find learning programs offered through live webinars and self-paced formats on the job and networking opportunities to help them develop skills and make a difference at the job that they do and at the firm. And the third one, I would say, well, obviously, the global mobility at McKinsey and how the firm, how the international assignments actually help contribute the talent strategy and drive transformation. When I saw employee testimonials, actually, specifically Mr. Andre Pietrosanti, I was excited to walk along the same path. These are the 3 reasons, I guess.
Okay. Okay. Great. So should we get into a case?
Let's do this.
Okay. So can we just move on to the next slide? Yes, great. Okay. So our client is a manufacturer of towels based in Germany. Okay. So the client is based in Germany and they make towels. The towel division has recently suffered a decline in profit. And they are thinking of cutting costs. Yeah. And you have been hired to advise them. Yeah. What can our client do to cut their cost?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Gaurav, for this case. Looks very interesting. So let's just repeat what we're saying. I know the case in front of us is in front of us right now, but for the sake of an interview, I don't think it's going to be in front of us. I will have to repeat it for you. So our client is a manufacturer of towels based in Germany, and they are suffering declines in profit. So they are thinking of cutting costs, and how can the client, and they have hired me to know how to approach this challenge, correct? Okay, so do you mind if I ask a few probing questions before I structure my thoughts?
Absolutely, please.
All right, so okay, just for the sake of it, I want to ask about the business model. So basically only they sell towels. They don't provide any other
it's a typical towel manufacturing and selling company. They procure the raw material, they make the towels, and they sell it to I mean, of course, through different retail and wholesales. Of course, they don't have retail presence, so they probably would be selling to the metros and Walmarts and the mom and pop stores. They don't own the stores, but otherwise the entire value chain is owned by them.
All right. So they sell resellers as well as like B2C and B2B, if I understand from your answer.
Not B2C, it's B2B only.
B2B only.
Yeah.
Okay. And my second question would be, Gaurav, do they have a financial goal or target, also known as an ROI, for example, to achieve in the next 5 years, a break-even point? We can call it whatever we want. Do they have that?
Why do you want break-even point? I mean, is it just cost-cutting exercise? No, where does ROI or break-even?
Correct. I guess you're right. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you for pointing that out.
So yeah, it's a simple success criteria. The success criteria is that they would like you to tell them cost-cutting measures, which will amount to 10% cost-cutting.
10% cost-cutting is the goal.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So Gaurav, do you mind if I, and we can see how we can move on later on? Thank you.
Super, yeah.
Negotiate the cost, all right. So thank you very much for waiting, Gaurav. Okay, so this is how I saw it. If you want to reduce the cost in a company, I will have to divide it into 3 buckets, all right? So let's start with the first one. My first bucket would be to reduce the price of the raw material, or let's call them, these are resources, I will call them raw material. To reduce the price of the raw material within this bucket is to find a cheaper supplier, a cheaper alternative. Like if you have a supplier for cotton, you can find another one from Thailand instead of UK, and you can find a cheaper price. Or we can go for renegotiation of the price with the same supplier. My first bucket. Within these two, find a cheaper alternative and renegotiate the price. Okay. My second bucket would be to meet the need with less raw material or less resources. We can always eliminate, within that, we can eliminate the waste, or we can improve productivity. That would be the 2 points I would address to meet the need with less raw material or less resources. And my last bucket would be to reduce the need by either eliminating the raw materials completely and going to a new product, eliminating the need completely and going for a new product, or to reduce the service level, either cut few things from operations to reduce the cost. This will be my all-over structure. So if it's with that, so that we can start with it, please let me know.
On raw material, as if there are no other cost elements. Why everything is on raw material?
Okay, so thank you for pointing that out. So if you don't mind, I will add one more bucket, combine the both, which is fixed cost and variable costs on the company. And okay, so I will add the fixed cost and the variable cost. For the fixed cost, I guess we can go for the overhead, for example, salaries of employees, and we can go for operational costs. For the variable costs, we can go for many factors like part-time employees, maybe utilities. So we can add that as a bucket. It's a good point that you mentioned. I've been focusing more on the raw material, but I added a new bucket, which is the fixed cost and variable costs. I hope that covers it all.
Okay. Okay. Let me and tell me which cost buckets would you target first? Yeah. If I give you one more constraint, and that constraint being, I want to cut cost without affecting the quality of the towel. Okay. Guys, can you just move to the first exhibit?
Okay. So thank you for sharing this exhibit. Gaurav. So cost of producing towels, okay? So as we can read here, the cost towel is per dollar, of course. We have 4 sections, which is the small, medium, large, and extra large towels. And we have many parameters that are taking place within the cost. So we have material, processing, coloring, etc. For the small, it goes from the small to medium to large, it goes 1, 2, 4, 8, and etc. for each parameter taking place. Now, if you don't mind giving me like 30 seconds or a minute to take a look at the numbers.
Yeah, sure, please.
So as you can see right now, between small and medium, Gaurav, the cost does change, but not too much. It's like almost very close. Now the change starts to change dramatically between the small and medium bracket to the large, and significantly from the large to the extra large. So if we were to calculate like these numbers, if we go for the large, we calculate the total cost, we will get 4 plus 3.5, 7.5 plus 1.5, you get a 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. The total cost for a large towel would be $14, whereas for the extra large would be like 10, 15, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So if I were to target like a specific sector of which one we need to reduce the costs for, I think.
Well, how much is it for extra large, you said?
Like so 8 plus 2, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. My bad. Sorry, it's the force of habit. My calculations was really fast. So the difference between the large and the extra large is kind of high. So if I were to target the cost for a specific kind of towel, I would go for the extra large, try to reduce the cost on that.
No, but how do you know that? Probably extra large is really large. Do you know the dimensions?
The dimensions are not mentioned here, but what really got my attention in this case is the difference in the material. Like the material, like it's
which is directly proportional to probably the dimensions, no? If extra large towel is probably double or triple long or whatever in terms of dimensions.
That's
probably,
a good point.
Yeah, so it's quite presumptuous, no? What you're saying.
That's a good point. Thank you for mentioning
forget
that.
about that, yeah. Even if you forget that, yeah, because we don't know the dimensions over here, yeah. What other criteria can you use to select a bucket to probe into for cost cutting?
Okay, so let me take a step back. How I'm targeting this, Gaurav, is by the difference in prices for the cost. So the differences are taking place, obviously, not in packaging, not in transport, and not in labor. Mostly it's taking place in the materials that are used, in the processing, and a little bit in the coloring. So you can see the difference takes place mostly between small and medium, large to extra large. So this is where the difference takes place. So my assumption that took place right now, why I targeted the extra large, is because of the, yes, you're right, I did not know the dimensions of the extra large, but the difference in the cost, it's too much, like double the large and 8 times the small. But so this is how I'm targeting that. How to know which cost to reduce. I would go either for the large or the extra large, Gaurav, because the material cost is too high.
Yeah, I think you are just stuck on the vertical segregation of data. You are not looking at a horizontal one. See, one of the criteria that I just gave you is cost bucket that will not affect the quality. Yeah. And if I just think from that perspective, probably, I don't know, but I'm looking at decorating or packaging and transport, those buckets directly come to my mind. Yeah, that those are the buckets which will not surely affect the quality of the towel. Yeah. But let's see. Yeah, I think you looked at it vertically. I looked at it horizontally. So just let's move to the next question. Guys, can you just show the next question? Say our client can reduce the packaging costs of a small towel by 50 cents per towel, medium towels by 25 cents per towel, in addition to cutting all the refining and decorating costs by $1 per towel. Yeah. how much will they be able to save per year? And additionally, I would say, will that be enough to reach our success criteria? Yeah. And we'll show you the exhibit again. Guys, go back to exhibit. You will need the data. If you have taken the notes from this, I think then we will show you the exhibit.
All right. Okay, so I'll repeat the information that you provided. So reducing the cost of the small towel by $0.5 or 50 cents, and 25 cents for the medium towel. And
that is for packaging, right?
Yes, that is for packaging. And for refining and decoration, we reduced $1 per towel, correct?
From all the sizes of towel.
All the sizes, yes.
Yeah.
Correct. So we need to estimate how much they will reduce the cost per year, correct?
Yeah, per year, and whether that is enough, whether that is enough saving as per our success criteria.
Okay. Okay. On how much sold on the previous year?
Good. Thank you for asking. Guys, let's go to the second exhibit. Yeah, quickly write it down because we'll go back to exhibit 1.
Okay.
Small 500, medium 1000. Okay.
300.
Yeah. Go back to exhibit 1. Yeah. I think you have enough and more data now to do the calculations.
I'm sorry, but is the data in thousands and millions or only 500 towels?
Forget about it. Yeah, let's imagine that it is a standalone data. It's not 1,000, it's not million.
Okay. So let's consider them units, if that's the case.
Yeah, because anyway we want percentage, no? So it doesn't matter whether it's 1,000, million.
Okay. Do we have? Okay, so. All right, so we don't, all right, I'm sorry, I was going to ask you if we have the prices, but we don't need the prices at the moment. We're just calculating how much
we are
cost
operating on the cost. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so how I'm going to target this, Gaurav, is the following. So I'm going to calculate the cost for each and every one, the previous one that you mentioned right now from this table.
Right.
And then we can go for the new cost with the editings that you gave me, 0.5 to, okay? So
Perfect.
let's start by the small. Let's start by the small. All right.
Yeah.
So it's 1 plus 1.5 plus 0.5, which will give us 3 plus 5, plus 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the original cost, it's $8 for the small one. With the edited one that you mentioned right now, the packaging is reduced by 0.5, correct? So I will change that to 0.5, and the refining and decoration is it's okay. So it's $1 right now. So the new cost, the previous cost is $8. The new cost will be the following: 1 plus 1.5 plus 0.5. It will give us 3 plus 1. It will give us 4 plus half, 4.5. 5.5, 6.5. So the new cost is 6.5. Since they are selling 500 units, so it's going to be 6.5 times 500 units for the new prices. We just do this right now. This will give us $3,250. With respect to the old one, which is 8 times 500, which is $4,000. So the cost used on the small towels is $750.
Do you really need to do that reduction every time?
Okay, so we can. Okay, so my strategy was the following: to calculate the okay.
No, you are not doing anything wrong. wrong, but that additional page.
All right.
You can add up all the towel sizes number together, and then you can find out the difference, no?
Okay. Okay, so you mean like the total cost of everything?
Yeah, then total original cost and total cost after
total
cutting
edited
cost. Yeah, right.
All right, we can do that. Yes. So let's target it your way. Thank you for mentioning it. So, all right, let's start with, let's add the total cost of the small, medium, large, and extra large. And we add the previous price along with the new, the previous cost along with the new cost. So as mentioned before, the previous one for the small one is $8. The medium one would be 2 + 2 + 1 = 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So 10 for the medium. We can calculate the large one. So it's 3.5 + 1.5. It will give us 5 + 4, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, plus 14, plus a 20 for the extra large. $34, 10 plus 8 plus 44 plus. It will give us $52 overall cost on all the towels as previous price. So the total cost is $52 for the previous price if we have one towel. And we can go for the new price, which is basically 0. I'm sorry, Gaurav, is this the right way to address this? Because this is what I'm doing. I'm addressing it like all overall.
Yeah, so what is the original cost together?
The original cost is $52 based on the calculation that I made.
$52? What do you mean?
For the small, medium, large, and extra large.
No, it should be in thousands, right?
Oh, you mean after multiplying the numbers of units sold?
Yeah, I mean, how will you are actually adding the individual cost. It's not going to help, no? Every size has a different unit.
Yes, that is why I calculated each one and multiplied it by the numbers of units sold.
No, that was not I was hinting at. I was hinting at you calculating the difference between new, original, and edited. That operation wasn't required. Yeah, I was not objecting on the way you are doing. But anyways, now what you are doing is also fine. Just multiply it with number of units so that you get the total cost. Okay, got it?
Can you come again? I'm sorry.
Doing it fine. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, so for the small part, we were for the small towel, we reduced the cost by $750, and yeah, and for the medium towel, the cost per medium towel is $10 as overall, as previous price. And the number of units sold for the medium towel is 1,000. This will give us $10,000. And for the new price, it's going to be the following. It's going to be 2 + 2 + 1, 2 + 2 + 1 + 1. This will give us a total of 6 plus half, 7.5, 8.5. So $8.5 for the new price times 1,000, which will give us $8,500 for the new price. 8,500 for the new price. So we saved $1,500 for the medium.
How 8.5? On the medium, the packaging cost only went down by 0.25, no?
By 0.25 for the medium towel. That's a good point. So sorry, totally slipped my mind. So it's 0.25. Allow me to recalculate again the new cost. So it's 2 + 2, 5, 6, 6.25, 6.75, 8.75. So 8,750 is the new cost, and we saved 1,250. We saved $1,250 for the medium-sized. Now for the large one, our cost, my original cost is $14, and the number of units sold is 500. This will give us a total of 14 times 500. Which will give us $7,000 for the previous price. And for the new price, it will give us, if you calculate the cost, it's 4 plus 5, it's 9. 9 plus 1, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's 13. 13 times 500. The new cost will be 6,500. We will be saving $500 on the large, and for the extra large ones, the total cost is $20. Units sold 300. So this will give us a total of $6,000 for the extra large. With the new price, it's going to be 8 plus 2, 10 plus 5, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So it's going to be 19. 19 times 300 will give us 5,700. So we saved $300. We saved $300 on the new price. So in brief, Gaurav, we will be saving on the small towels $750, on the medium towels $1,250, on the medium on the large towel $500, and on the extra large towel $300, which will give us a total cost reduction of $2,800.
Right, but how do you find out now whether 2,800 is 10% of the total cost or not?
Exactly. I wanted to ask you before that, is there a, yeah, we can all, okay, so.
You have all the numbers, just
I
do
have
the
all the
original
data.
cost.
I have all the data, yes, I have all the data. So, okay, so we can add the previous cost all over, the previous cost that we have for the medium towel and etc. So, all right, so the total previous cost, it's $4,000 for the small, $10,000 for the medium, $7,000 for the large, and $6,000 for the extra large. This will give us a total of 10,000 plus 17,000, $27,000 total cost. And if we divide okay, so if I divide 2,800 by 27,000, I will get a total division. I will get 0.37. So this will give us a 10.37%. By reducing the packaging cost by 0.5 cents and 25 cents respectively between small and medium towels, as well as reducing $1 on all the towels for the refining and decorating, this company will achieve its target in reduction for the cost of 10%, specifically by 10.37%.
Got it. Let's go to the next question. So my next question to you is, instead of cutting costs, our client wants to know if they should just stop producing extra large towels. Yeah. Would it be a better option?
Do you mind if I ask you a probing question for this question?
Yeah, why not?
May I ask what's the profit margin for each towel? I would certainly ask.
Guys, just go to exhibit 2. Yeah, you can note it down: 50%, 40%, 35%, and 20%.
40%, 35%, and 20%. All right. All right, so for the extra large towel, we can see that the revenue, the number of units sold, it's 300. And the cost is $6,000 So the profit margin would be like 100 if they sold. Okay, that would be the. Okay, can we go back to the exhibit for the question, if you don't mind?
Yeah, exhibit 1.
Yeah, this one. No, not this one. The one that was before the question.
The question, okay.
Yeah. The situation is as follows, Gaurav. I think our clients want to know if they should stop producing. So the question over here is like, we eliminate the option of reducing $0.5 and $0.25 on the small and medium, and reduce and remove the option of reducing $1 for the refining and decorating, and to go totally with this option. That's the question, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So instead of doing the previous small cuts, they're talking about just stopping the extra large altogether.
Okay, so stopping the production completely. Okay, so all right. So the number of units sold, how am I going to target this? By the number of units sold, the revenue generated, and the margin of profit takes place. So the number of units sold for the extra large towels is 300. Okay. The total revenue generated from that is sorry, not the total revenue generated. So we're talking about costs here. So 300. The total cost taking place, not the total revenue generated, is $6,000. Before the editing, okay? So if we were...
What are you saying?
Okay, so...
If you want to take a minute and gather your thoughts,
please, if you don't
fine
mind,
with it, yeah?
If you can give me like a minute to gather my thoughts to see how I can target
this.
Please. Okay? Thank you. Okay, thank you for waiting, Gaurav. So... all right. So as we calculated before, after editing the costs, we mentioned that we reduced the cost by $2,800. Now for this, we are suggesting if we can stop producing the extra large towels. Now I targeted this as the following. The total number of towels sold are 2,300, including the extra large towels. And the extra large towels contribute to almost 13% of that. So with the least profit margin out of all, which is 20%. So I would suggest, yes, to stop producing the extra large towels, because we will be reducing the cost of production, which is $6,000. And I think there's an option here that we could mention, is we can use the cost and operating cost and the raw material cost for the extra large towel, we can use it for for the small, medium, and the large ones. I think this would be a better option.
See, cutting off the least profitable business segment will improve the profitability. That is like no-brainer. Yeah. But do you see anything beyond this? What are the other impacts of shutting down the extra large business unit or business line?
So all right. So the impact would be as follows. So the total cost, as mentioned to you before, was $27,000, Gaurav. $27,000. So if we were to remove completely the extra large segment, our total cost would be $21,000. So
don't get into numbers, Paul. Keep the numbers away. Yeah.
All right.
Only think like a salesman now. What will happen if the Excel product is not there in your portfolio?
Okay, so there will be, if the product is not within my product portfolio.
Okay, just for the sake of time, I'll just give it to you. So there are a couple of impacts that we need to think about. One is, of course, losing customers, because some customers might be buying bundles, and if you cut Excel, they will stop taking others as well. One. But secondly, there it will also directly impact the cost because Excel, if you stop, then on a lot of these things like raw material, etc., where it is a big contributor, you will lose the economy of scale, no? And even the fixed cost will have a burden of the other three. Ultimately, per towel cost for the other cost of the other towels segment will increase, right? Plus,
Correct.
you might
Correct.
lose some customers. Yeah. So think exhaustive. Yeah. Okay, cool. So why don't you take a minute and come back with your recommendation?
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you for waiting. So I would recommend the German company, the German towel company, to remain with their plan of reducing the cost for packaging, small and medium respectively, as well as the for refining and decorating for all towels by $1, and to keep the extra large product, not to jeopardize their customers, to lose customers in the market, and not to impact the cost on the other towels. And the risk for that would be, I guess, the capabilities, the operational capabilities, if they were able to do that for the refining as well. And the next step right now would be to start, I guess, discussing with their logistics department to see how they can start reducing the cost on the packaging, and for the refining and decorations to go more on the operational department to see how they can do that. And that would be all from my side. And thank you very much for having me.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I do have questions for you. If you don't mind me asking, is there any other case? Is there a case in your consulting career where you feel really proud of, and what did you achieve in that?
You mean the project?
Yes, a project that you worked on that you're proud of, and so I would like to know more about that.
I'm a lot of projects that I'm proud of, but yeah, I think one project that I'm really proud of is when I had to get investments from a few countries. Second, I think after Lehman Brothers crisis, we saved a very major bank in Italy from going into bankruptcy. Yeah, I think these two projects are very, very close to my heart.
Wow, that's very impressive. Wow. Okay, I can imagine what you went through. Okay, well, my second question would be, I love asking this question all the time. With digital transformation taking place, do you think consultants are in jeopardy when it comes to their job roles?
No, we have started new practices. In fact, I mean, we have digital McKinsey to take care of it, and digitization is part of. I mean, it's basically it's about it's a channel of institutionalizing your strategy. Yeah, so the pure strategy work actually stays where it was, of course, with a flavor of digital. But yes, as companies do a lot of downstream work, digital work, and having competency in that has become important. But of course, consulting companies were not blind to this. So most of the consulting companies now have competencies to help the client in the digital segment as well.
Wow, that's good. Always good to hear. Well,
great.
Thank you very much, Gaurav. These are my questions for you. And yeah, if there's anything else we can tackle.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Oh. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed, can we actually give Paul an applause, because he really deserved it?
I don't deserve it.
I look at his exciting eyes, how tired he is, how so imagine how would you feel in his shoes. So can I ask you one more time to turn on your cameras and give an applause to Paul? and Gaurav for simulating the first interview round at McKinsey. And I also, can you maybe write it down into the chat? What do you think? Did he made it to the next round? Can you answer this simple question? So based on what you have seen, would you invite, if you were an interviewer, Paul, to the next interview round? Just please write your opinion, whether it's yes or no, in the chat. So I also want to see your answers. Ladies and gentlemen, please quickly write yes or quickly no, and yes, and give the reason why.
No.
So why do you think this has happened? So maybe you also have some feedback to provide, and anything back. So please write your honest feedback. And because we are here, we want to learn. So I want to learn to and give every one of you the opportunity to learn with us as well. So Paul, first of all, my congratulations for completing the interactive McKinsey first interview round. So my question is, was it real for you?
Yeah.
You felt it was natural? Okay. What have you learned out of this session?
What I learned in this session is that interviewers can be tough. That's the first one. The second one would be, I think I need to handle more the numbers better. Okay. As I mentioned to you before, I went thoroughly, which took a lot of time, but I need to think, to elaborate my thinking a little bit, not be close-minded, and like look outside of the box even clearly. Yeah, this is how I can target that and work on more cases.
All right, so sounds good. And maybe Paul, just one more thing. How do you evaluate? What are your chances? So have you done it to the next round or?
No. That's a solid 3 over 10. I would say from my side, based on my performance. I've done better cases. I killed in other cases. I don't know what happened today, but this one is a solid 3 over 10. I think this is from my side.
Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, can you maybe write into the chat? Would you like to receive some of the feedback from professional coaches? For example, from one of them, McKinsey former consultant.
To the McKinsey style of, yeah. So if this would have been a real first round interview, they would have made it. To the and for the reason, first is communication, weak consulting commission. Second is third is second, I wouldn't say completely structure, but it's basically analytical thinking combined with structure. If I go to the level 2 of the issue tree, why am I saying the communication? Because a lot of you have written in the chat that he had a very good communication. Absolutely, yeah. If I tell him to sell, igloo to the Eskimo, yeah, or sand to the Arab, he will sell very well. We want crisp, top-down communication. Yeah, we don't want flowery communication. And succinct. Yeah, I think he was talking like I'm a classical singer, and probably he was singing pop or something like at some different level. Yeah, so he needs to come down to consulting level. Yeah, he needs to be speaking the answer in a very, very crisp manner. Okay, the answers, content of the answer should be consulting related. Okay, because when I asked him whether this story relates to consulting, he also realized it has nothing to do with consulting. Yeah, so that is something that is not acceptable. Don't forget, interview is all about relating. Yeah, human beings love to hire people just like them. They see themselves. They cannot see you out. if you make them work to think about how this example is related to my work, the game is over. You need to make their life simpler by giving examples that they can relate to their work. Though don't make their life hard. Because if you make their life hard, then you are probably seeing them for the last time. Yeah. So relevance of the communication and not being top down is second. And is structure and analytical. I think structure, he completely just selected one side, raw material, but after pushing, I think he gave a good structure, which is I'm fine with it. Yeah. But overall, no, I felt that his structure or thinking was extremely narrow. To start with raw material and forgetting everything else, then at the end only talking about financial impact and not looking at the non-financial or strategic impact of shutting down one business line, right? So we call it tunnel vision. Yeah, we don't need tunnel vision here. Yeah, because we are not hiring scientists. Yeah, we want, consulting is a generalist profession. You are into strategy. Yeah, so you need to think from the 10 different perspectives. Yeah, before you coming up with your structure or your answer. Yeah, that is second one. And the third one was math. Of course, I think I don't need to elaborate. You were witnessing it. Yeah, so good. He started off with giving me logic of how he's going to go with it, which is positive. Yeah, but then once he was in the numbers, yeah, I don't think he visualized that what does he want in numerator and denominator. Yeah, ultimately, we wanted a percentage which is greater than 10% or not. And hence, in the numerator, we wanted a difference. In denominator, we wanted old cost. As simple as that. Yeah. And then you go about it. The numbers were not very tough. I think he started, and in a minute, somebody posted 2,800, right? So it was quite quick, actually speaking. That he should have gone. So though guys, speed of math is not one of the marker of consulting interview evaluation. So I'm not commenting on the speed. Yeah, because a lot of people over here might be thinking that slowness or having a very low speed can actually get you out, but that is not the case unless you are really, really slow. Yeah, but yeah, accuracy is, yeah, the ability to set efficient equation is a marker, yeah, which he missed out. Yeah, so both the markers he missed out, the accuracy and the other one. So that's the reason that he will come back. And in case of McKinsey, probably after 18 months of cooling off period. Okay, that's it from me.
Thanks for the feedback.
Any questions?
All right.
You're most welcome, Paul.
Cool. So, first of all, Paul, what do you think? What is the best thing about this case interview simulation?
The bad thing?
The best.
The best thing. Well, I can say the best thing about this is how real it is. You know, this is how it goes. You hear stories. You hear like, I went to this interview and the interviewer was, you know, he was not nice, etc., etc. This is how you get to see it. Like, this is the best part. You're seeing how it is, and this is my favorite part. Definitely, it wasn't my performance.
So, yeah, I'll just add one point over here, that to address two of the question coming in, yeah, because this is relevant. One is it the real McKinsey first round case? Yes, this is taken directly from a McKinsey first round case. I have just changed a few things to ensure that it doesn't violate any rules. Secondly, somebody had asked, was I pushing him for stress testing or trying to get the sharp answer? Actually, I was not stress testing him. This is not stress test. If you feel this is stress test, then you haven't seen anything. Stress test can be really grueling. Yeah, I was actually trying to help him and asking him, whether I want relevant answer from your side. Yeah, stress testing can be taken to a really different level. I mean, there are 3 different types of probing, and there's a different science to that.
Good to hear.
Yeah. So Paul, can you please be more exhaustive in your answer? So you have provided me only one thing. And you know that the typical consulting answer is consisting of at least three things. So I will repeat my question. So what is the best thing in this interview simulation?
The best thing in this interview simulation.
Or the best three things?
I would say something, okay, first of all, how real it is. The second thing, I would say the case. It was very nice. It was very interesting. And the third thing, of course, like 70 participants, the 78 were watching before. This is like something really nice to perform in front of all these people. And, you know, like I would add the amount of effort that the wake-up call that it gives you, a wake-up call that you need to improve even more. Like no matter how good you think you are, you need to improve even more. This is, and the best part, I would say not the fit questions, but the case itself. Like the fit questions were tough, but the case itself was even like tougher. I like
that. Paul, would you allow me to add one more point? So except of these being real, and except of you becoming even more confident because you need to perform in front of 80 people, there is also one thing. I think I just want to congratulate you and everyone else. So you have seen how the candidate can bomb up the first interview round with McKinsey, and it doesn't actually happen. So he's still engaged, he still can practice, and he can actually still move on and become better ready for the real McKinsey interview. So his McKinsey interview is still ahead of him. And this is also what we wanted to translate to him. So fail more, fail often, learn from these failures, stand up and move on. And we are here to help you. So basically, use this opportunity, learn together with us, and so that you can make it happen to the real McKinsey interview and go through the interview round by round. Because McKinsey in Germany, where this case is coming from, and Gaurav, I was in fact very laughing because when I had my interview with McKinsey Munich office, indeed, one of my first interview cases from the year, I think it was in 2009, was exactly about the towels. So whether they need to use the towels or whether they want to move to the hand dryer, something like this. I cannot recall it correctly, but I was just so much laughing when I saw this case. So yeah, guys, this case is really taken from McKinsey first interview round, Munich or Berlin office, whatsoever, the DACH region, so Central Europe. All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are running a little bit of time, so I will apologize. We would not be able to answer all of your questions today. But if you have your questions, simply get a call together with our client manager. Alina will now share the link, and let us simply do a very quick goodies and bonus materials for those of you who have stayed with us so far. And I pass the word to Alina. I want to thank one more time to Paul for your confidence and for the show which you have provided to us together with Gaurav.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
The word to you. So please give all the goodies and bonus materials to everyone.
Thank you, Andre. And I need the next slide for the goodies.
Can you please also send the link for the first call? All right, cool.
Yes, that's so all the links are already in the chat. And first of all, I want to say thank you for your active participation in our webinar. And for us, it will be extremely useful and important if you fill in the webinar satisfaction survey. This is the first link which I sent to you. And please leave your feedback. What do you want to see on the next webinars? And we always try to make our webinars better and better. And your opinion will be extremely useful for us. So I will give you 1 minute, or if you need to take more time, and please write your thoughts, write your opinion, and if you have any ideas, we will be really happy to improve and to make this webinar more comfortable for you and more useful. Okay, and also those who stayed with us until the end and still here, we prepared some goodies for you. You want and need. And also I want to say you that please follow up us on the social medias because there you can find a lot of useful information, a lot of different posts about Andre and Gaurav's experience in consulting, a lot of pieces of advice how you can improve your performance in case solving and your preparation and strategy. So I sent you some links for the Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. And yeah, so please feel free to follow up this, follow up us in our social medias. And also, yeah, I want to invite you to our next 3 webinars. So this month we will have 3 more webinars. Next Wednesday, it will be McKinsey final round case interview simulation. It will be same time, also Wednesday from 5 till 7 Central European time. And also next 2 webinars will be on the 19th of May, it will be BCG and Bain first round case interview simulation, also from 5 till 7. And on 26th of May, it will be BCG and Bain final round case interview simulation, also from 5 till 7. So we will be very happy to see you there. I also send you the link where you can register for the webinar. I think you already know where you can register. So please join us and you will receive a lot of useful information there. And yeah, as I said, please don't forget to follow up us in our social medias and get a lot of useful information there. So this is all for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us for these 2 hours. It was really great pleasure to have you here. We really tried to do all our best to show you how does McKinsey interview in the reality look like, without any bullshitting, without a lot of marketing, like really straight to the point. I really wanted to be very honest with you and show you how it is in practice. And we are here, as you see, it's quite challenging process and it's definitely not for everyone. So the acceptance rate at McKinsey is currently actually just below 1%. So only 8 people out of 10, out of 1,000 applicants will actually get a job offer. And so far, we have already helped more than 200 people to get the jobs from McKinsey, Bain, and BCG, as well as 600 people in total, students who have started with our support in consulting. So if you want to be the next one, just get in touch with our team, and we will be very happy to serve you and to welcome you in our VIP family club. So with these words, I want to thank you all for your participation, dear ladies and gentlemen. And I want to give a special thanks today to our client, Paul. Paul, it's been amazing with you today. Thank you very much. Thank you for not being shy of making a wrong step or a failure. We are just all human beings and we are just learning with every session. So I hope this was also very useful exercise for you. And I also want to say a big thanks to my good friend and business partner, Gaurav, for hosting this webinar together with me for challenging and giving, for simulating the real McKinsey interview for you together with Paul. And I want to say a big thanks to Alina and all the entire team of McKinsey, of Consulting Masters who have organized this webinar for you. So thank you very much, team. This applause actually goes for you. And yeah, really well done. I hope you, ladies and gentlemen, enjoyed the show. I want to thank you for your attendance and wish you a pleasant evening. We would be happy to hear from you. So just click on the button and book the first call with our client managers, and then we will be hearing up from you very soon and helping you on your way to get your dream consulting offer. And otherwise, I will see you next week on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central European time, so same time. Stay tuned and get ready to get your offers. Take care.
Bye, guys. See you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.